Alright, you can go.
You can try it now. We're done with you.
Okay.
That's the right question. You answer the right
Okay, guys, there we go. So we did one training session. I recorded it on my phone, and my phone recorded 1.5 minutes. And stopped recording. This is like sweet. So what we're gonna do, in third year you have a couple assessments, which are video recorded assessments. So it is for that, but also I was telling Isaac and Matt, what you guys are doing is what a lot of us did in our third year. Like me and Samir, our first semester, and the guys before that, Marcus and Ben. What you guys are stepping into is what we did as our third year. So I thought, there's probably actually some practical things which I could teach you, which actually might help. So I thought, if we're just eating lunch, hanging out, bring some cookies and stuff, let's do it. Let's do it. So we're gonna do 2 parts. We're gonna do one. Let me just pull up my thing here. We're going to do one on a little bit of training, and then we're going to do one on our team, how we can improve it, how we can grow it, innovate it, but because there's a lot of changes. But with logistics, thank you guys for doing it. It's flipping awesome. And Isaac's doing logistics today as well. Double logistics.
Oh, wow.
Which team is better? You don't have to answer.
Both are equally amazing.
With logistics, we've been focusing on training leadership, which is why we're doing like area leaders and 2 ICs and stuff, with you doing like bump outs a lot and you guys stepping up. We've been working on relationships, so having everyone meet Craig, everyone meet the host, leaders, that sort of a thing. We've been focusing on teaching understanding, which is mostly with the newer guys, but kind of on a bigger scale as well. So we're kind of going to focus on that, which is skills of like where everything goes, all of that sort of thing. And then skills, which is what I kind of want to focus on. So some of the skills are like how to drive the van. I know you do that a lot. That's an important one. Hosting, how to host. We find ourselves doing that a lot, whether it's good or not.
Right.
And then what I want to focus on today for the training is radios. Woo woo! Whose church back home actually uses radios? Anybody? Oh, really? What are they using for?
Stage management,
Okay.
then the service producer, and some of the hosting.
That's cool. Anybody else? No. Mine didn't. It was foreign to me when I came here.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Very much so.
You've all used radios here, yeah? Yeah. So getting used to them. We have multiple teams which have radios. These are ops radios, as you can kind of tell by the faded labels. But myself and the other interns have been visiting other campuses, and all different size campuses too, which is pretty cool. And you get to see some of them use radios and some don't, and then you see the difference in the campus, and it's pretty interesting. Like, for instance, we're focusing a lot on hosting teams and observing and then developing and training the hosting teams. So in that, we watch them do building fills, we watch them communicate, we watch them get people out, we watch them do seat drops, offering communion, all that sort of thing. And the difference having a radio and not having a radio actually makes a difference. So like smaller campuses, like last week I was at Chatswood, and I was like part of the 10% white people there. It was awesome. Like 90% Asian. Have you been there before?
No.
Oh, it'd be super interesting. You should go
Wish
sometime.
I should go.
But Chatswood is in a movie theater, and there's maybe 150 or 200 people in the service I was in, and they didn't have radios. Maybe Sydney West, it's more inner west, it's more like a medium campus, but still not a large campus. Or Southwest, I was there recently, which is kind of a medium campus as well, but none of them used radios. And it was interesting to see the difference between those or like Waterloo or Alexandria or maybe Melbourne East or some of our bigger campuses, not quite hills, but bigger, that use radios. And the difference is crazy. To me, it's kind of like, how is it that a smaller campus in a movie theater where it's like, it should be so easy, that they actually have a worse fill and worse communication than these campuses that have hundreds or thousands more people every service. It's crazy, and I think it's just like literally this, which is massive thing. And I thought of something kind of fun. We could try. Who wants to be the volunteer? Morton, come on.
Sorry,
Morton.
So this is going to demonstrate. You can sit down, it's fine. This is going to demonstrate how our smaller campuses, what they look like. Okay, do you have earbuds? Yeah, you do. You want to use yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. You can use yours. So we're gonna play a game here.
Oh.
Maybe you've done this before. So Morton's gonna put his earbuds in. I'm gonna choose a song.
Every time I use the radio,
I'm gonna choose a song. Can you still hear?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna come up with a sentence. And then we're gonna put the music on, and he's gonna be listening to the music. And we're gonna tell him the sentence, and he's gonna have to figure out what the sentence is without actually being able to hear it. So he's just gonna have noise, okay?
Jimmy Fallon.
Any host ever talks to you.
That's exactly the point.
Also visiting.
No,
That's the reveal.
All right, give me a song.
All
Give me a
right.
song.
Bye, NSYNC.
Bye, bye, bye.
Is that the name of the song?
I'll give you the lyric video because I've never seen the actual video. Oh, we've got an ad. Can you adjust the volume here until you can't hear us anymore? You can skip the ad
I
as
want
well.
to see some blood out of your ears.
You want to see some blood?
What ad?
Okay, can you hear us?
Just this song.
No.
Tell me when. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear what I'm saying? At all?
It's a great song.
Nothing. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So what's our phrase? Let's come up with a sentence. It can be a little bit crazy. It can be good.
No foul language.
No foul language.
It'd be like,
Oh.
we need to,
It needs to be longer than that, for sure. So no foul language.
Peter wants 13 rows added to the floor.
Oh my
Nice,
God.
nice. All right.
Wagon.
Mission.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
So we've got our sentence. So Hunter is going to say the sentence to you. You can't hear it,
Peter wants 13.
and you have to repeat it back to us
Come
and
on.
figure it out without being able to hear it. Okay?
How
is he
understanding all this when he came to the
Oh no,
Ready?
he posted it.
All right.
He was telling me, I was like, wait, what's his name? Straight there, telling me, I'm like,
All right, let's see how many tries it takes.
Bring it.
Bring it.
Peter wants 13 rows added to the floor.
I have no idea.
Alright,
Figure out the first word.
Peter
Peter,
Come
wants
on.
13 rows.
use your mouth more.
It's a great. First
Wants
word.
13 rows.
Okay, slower.
Wants 13 rows.
Want to.
Close. Close.
Walls.
No.
Wants.
Wants.
Once.
Yes. 13.
Again.
13.
I'm not.
no, don't.
13.
13.
13.
Rows.
Chairs.
Rows.
Walls.
Rows.
13 rows on the
Chairs,
floor.
rows, walls.
Rows.
Worlds. I meant
Rows.
This might be
walls.
ESL,
Is it
right?
walls?
This might be ESL.
Rows.
Maybe going with the
I have no
ESL was
idea.
not the best choice.
Rows.
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 Yes.
Yes!
Ah.
Come on.
Added.
Again.
Added. Added. Added.
Rows. By.
Added. Added.
Added.
Added.
Added.
X.
Added.
No.
Cross.
Added.
Jesus.
Times.
Close. Close. Close.
Added.
Stacks.
Added. Added.
13 rows.
Yep.
Added.
Times.
Oh, close.
Added.
I think that's a row.
Break,
Oh, that's not a row.
break it apart. Break the word apart.
Add. Add. Add.
X.
Close.
Add.
I'm not.
Add.
That's
We're
more
gonna
C.
stop it there. We'll stop it there.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe we can try this long.
So what did you
Someone-
get?
His first language was
You don't want to take the rows. That's it.
And then add it to the floor.
Add it to the floor.
Oh.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
How was the
With-
song?
That's good. That's good.
So that
It's a
took
banger.
that took almost 3 minutes, and we didn't even get
Halfway
it.
through.
Yeah, got like 4 words. We could try it again later, but that's basically. Oh, now we're listening to the video again. That's basically how I felt at these smaller campuses.
Yeah.
Like they're across the whole thing, and you guys have been in the auditorium with like pre-roll or some music. It's pumping just like that. It's not the song, but it's the same idea, right? Where
Couldn't even hear myself.
that was so funny with your chomp. But it's the same idea where they're trying to yell, they're trying to use, hand signals, Morse code, smoke signals, whatever they can do to communicate, and they're just not getting the message across. And then when they have everyone sit down, you can tell, like, it was not done well. It was not done efficiently. Basically, yeah. Larger campuses, on the other hand, Waterloo, Alexandria, Melbourne East, they use radios and they use them between hosts. So for instance, they might have 4 hosts and each of them have a radio. So they're communicating just to each other, which is interesting. It's not quite how we do it here, but it's better than no communication, right? So we use radios here and we use them on a conference level, which is cool because it means that if you get it here, you literally know how to do it exactly how we or anyone who does a conference would use the radios there. So I want to talk you through examples at the Hills of how and when we've used radios. Can anyone think of like specific examples at Hills where it's like this is why we use radios scenario?
Logistics, when we do all our stuff, like our operations stuff inside, help make sure everything is filled correctly.
Yeah, we more use like online chat, like when we're outside, but during music and worship and all that, we use it for like if we need horseshoe, pull out certain chairs. Yeah.
And so everybody has the same timing.
That's true.
Timing's really
Yep.
good. Yeah.
That's a big one. Open doors.
Yeah.
Which it's funny how it still doesn't happen on time, even on the radios a lot of the time. But
Baptisms.
baptisms.
Baptisms are big, for sure.
That's 2 that I had written down. Was doors, baptisms. I said communion offering special moments. Whenever there's, usually on the host we have 20 to 30 people here at once that we have to coordinate.
Right.
Confetti cannons.
Confetti
That's the-
cannons.
that's the example.
That's- yeah.
Three,
That was
two,
the
one,
worst
boom.
graduation. We'll give you guys a countdown. We'll say stand by, 3, 2, 1, and then
And
they were
then
just
there's
like confetti cannons go. Right way, boom.
I see other people and follow up.
Yeah, it's true.
Boom, 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 boom.
Some other examples I thought, has anyone gone down to TV with me during a service? Yeah. So what we'll do, I'll take you this Sunday. We'll go down to TV right before everyone sits down. And then they look at the whole CC with us on the cameras. And they tell us we need these seats filled, these seats filled. And then with our radio, we communicate that back into the CC. And the reason we do that is because that shot will go out across the world in videos for other churches to see. And sometimes if there's a pretty bad job filling, they can't even use video shots just because there was a row open, which we literally fixed just like that. Other examples I thought of, has anyone seen the host in the foyer every service? Who's directing the people? Yep, exactly. Yep, I did that this
That's
week.
fun.
Yeah, with Isaac. We directed Bobby. We were pointing her and she said, "Can I go this way?" And we're like, "Do whatever you want."
You own this building. You can go wherever you would like to.
But that person's always on a radio. What they do is they hear from the people inside which side to direct the people to. So we can fill it really well. The other thing they do is they count the number of people coming in per minute and then communicate that back inside. So there's a lot of back and forth. I thought of ones that I have really used radios for that I never could have done it without. And the biggest thing I thought of was overflowing buildings.
Yeah.
Have you guys done that before here?
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Christmas back. It was me, you. Were you here Christmas?
I was here
Yeah, you weren't here. It was Maddie.
Like
Yeah, a
8
few
or
of us,
9
but there were like not many. And what happened was, tons of people come for Christmas back. It's the biggest event we have in the year.
crazy.
And we would overflow to multiple buildings at the same time.
Mm.
And I found myself on a radio in the hub, 22 years old, in charge of 550 people
Yeah.
in the hub.
Yeah.
Because Peter can't be everywhere at once. And so he relies on us on a radio to manage all those people. Basically, it's important to be able to use the radio, right? Matt, can you just check to see if it's still recording? I'm just paranoid now. All good? Sweet ass. What are we at?
15 minutes.
Okay, we'll try and wrap this one up quick. We'll get to the actual training part. So, I want to train you guys on how the structure of the radio works and how the actual radio works. And we'll do it in like 5 minutes. Okay? So here's how it works. You're a new person, you drive into church. What's the first thing you see in church?
Car
park. Car park. The car park people count your car. They wave at you, but they also count your car. They then communicate that back, either over radio or group chat, and say, there's 20 cars a minute to inside. Okay? The next thing you see would probably be what? When you get out of your car and walk in.
Or like the food and the coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So then you'd see logistics. So logistics did all the setup, you'd see banquet table, those teams. Those don't really communicate anything, but they're important.
Shout out.
The next thing you see is what? As you're going in the doors?
Directing. The host
Yeah.
directing.
Probably before that though. What do you see before you see that?
Pastors.
Yep. The welcome team, venue safety, also important. Then you run into
The host.
the host who's directing you. He's counting you even though you don't know it. And he is very important on the radio. Okay, after that, then you go inside and you see more hosts. Yeah? Who then direct you to a seat. And you don't realize, but each of those steps, before a person even gets in the building, is a step of communication, either over radio or that. So I want to talk through how that actually happens, all of that communication. Do you guys know that yet? Or no? Kind of? The ins and outs of it? Kind of? Not really? If you do, it'll be refreshing, but I bet there's some things you don't know. So when you're in the CC, the people are in charge are obviously Brian, but then you've got Carl Hugo, Pete, Craig, those people who are making the calls, right? Under him would be, I would say, the interns, people like Riley, Ben, people who have stuck around. Under that is the service leader. So that's a host, and they're literally leading the whole CC. The setup, everything. So these people are going here, these people are going here. Let's fill that, let's open that, they're next. Under them is a person called the C1. You guys all know this? The C1, what they do is they communicate what the service leader is saying to the hosts. And now I'll try not to get confusing here, but the next person under the C1 is called the
C2.
C2.
Woohoo!
And I'll explain that in a minute, but what they do is communicate what the service leader says to the C1. And I'll explain that in a minute. After the C2 is...
C3?
no C3.
Host.
Section leaders. So they're in charge of each section, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, the floor, and they're on radios. Under them is the hosts, the team members. So, no. So on the radio, C6. On the radio, there are which channels? Which channel do we usually use?
Host 2.
Host 2. There's also host
One.
Host 1. So now this is where it can get confusing, but it won't because we're going to explain it really well. We are on host 2. Pete is on host 2. Craig is on host 2. The service leader is on host 2. All of the important calls go through host 2. Okay? The hosts are on which channel?
Host 1.
Host 1. The guy in the foyer is on which channel? Host 1. When you go to the epi, they're on which channel? Host 1. Yeah. So when you're talking on host 2, obviously the hosts on host 1 don't hear all that information because they don't need to know it all. So the C2 is a person who walks right next to the C1. The C1 is the person in charge, but they're on host 1. All making sense so far? So the C2, which has been Hunter, it's been me. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you done it?
Maybe.
Maybe? Have you done it? No. And you haven't done it? So what they do is they listen to what's on host 2, and then they tell the C1, who on host channel 1 tells the whole team. Does that make sense? So that's the communication breakdown. There's a lot more that goes on back and forth. For instance, a backwards chat would be the guy in the foyer. He counts the chat. He communicates it up to the C1, who tells the C2, who then tells it to the service leader. Does that make sense on the different channels? So, telling you all this because you'll be using radios more and more. Last week, we went from 6 interns on radios to 1 intern on a radio, and that was me. And the rest of you guys are on radios, and probably within the next few weeks, probably none of us on radios. All you guys. So where do you think, so it goes host, section leaders, C2, C1, service leader, interns, and then people making the calls. Where would our team fit onto that chart if we were on radios?
C2.
Yeah, probably around C2, right?
C2.5.
Yeah, C2.5, that's exactly it. We use C2 a little differently because we use it sometimes to communicate between us. But yeah, we'd also be on C2. So if you guys have to step up, because this team isn't just, it's operations, it's logistics, but it's operations as well. It's not just moving stuff. If you guys have to step up, a good area for you to step up in would be that C2 area. So I would challenge you guys and encourage you guys, if you haven't done it, or even if you have, to put yourself in that position of C2, where you're communicating with actual people leading the whole CC film. That'll be super interesting for you guys. There's a difference between the ops radios and the host radios. Does anyone know what it is?
Nope.
No? The ops radios have access to all the channels. So if you flip through, you can go to venue safety, you can go to pastoral care, you can go to whatever one. The host ones are meant for hosting. So you have to obviously be careful which one you're on. And you're not talking to radio based like in conference every single day. Peter, are you there?
I need Brian right
This
now.
is radio based. You're right. And then the difference between the host 1 and host 2 channels. You guys know that? Yeah. Sweet. Any questions? You got it so far? It's good. Easy breezy.
Crazy.
All right. Let's use these radios.
Brian?
Give one to Morton. Let's try that. Pass them around. Oh, hello. Okay, so we've got our earpiece. Very simple, but do you know how to put the earpiece on?
Yes.
Yes.
It goes over or under your clothes?
Under.
Under. It's very scandalous, but it goes under. Comes through. This one clips on somewhere. This one goes over, clips on somewhere.
Depends on what kind of shirt you're wearing.
That's true. It's very
Wearing a
true.
hoodie, it's very hard to put
That's
on.
so true.
That's very true. But there's a cool trick I learned, which you can go like this and make this really long, and then this one can actually go up your sleeve.
Ooh,
And come out.
like James Bond.
Exactly. Come out right
See,
here.
I would just attach it to one of the these things, like one of the
You
things.
could, but this is much sneakier.
It's
You can
true.
you can try it the next
Plus
time.
you
It's pretty
just
cool.
feel
You
like
just go
a freaking
and then you just
spy.
go hello. So there's a pro. That's a pro tip. Here's the other one thing I learned. I'm not kidding you. For the first 8 months of my internship, I would get a radio check, nothing, and be like, what the heck? And Samir's talking to me, but I like can't hear anything. All right, go get a new radio, go get a new earpiece. When literally this was the problem the whole time. You guys know this? This right here disconnects.
Oh.
So if you're not hearing, it probably just isn't connected all the way.
Interesting.
And you can just plug it back in, twist it over.
Wow.
No need for new radio, no need for new earpiece. That's literally it.
Wow.
So let's turn on these radios quick, and we'll wrap up this one here.
I was just expecting an original one.
You have your radio on? Yep. Which channel are you guys on?
Host 2.
Host 2. I'm on host 1.
Well, then I will go to host 1.
Then you go to venue manager.
Recording. There it is.
Let's pretend, so you guys go back to host 2. Let's pretend that I am the host in the CC. Isaac, you're the service leader. Morton, you're going to be... Oh, we don't have enough radios. You'll be the service leader.
Hello?
You're going to communicate to the C2.
Wow.
Okay, so you're the
So I
C2.
must
And
be
you
on-
are going to be the C1. And I will be the host with a pretend
Should I
radio.
be on host 1 then?
No, so you should be on
Can you put my
C2
phone
because
in my
that's
radio?
what Isaac is on. So Isaac, let's make a call. Let's say, what do you want to do?
We need Bravo filled immediately.
Okay, let's call it.
C2 Morton,
All coming.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there. When you talk over the radio, we're always gonna go, I name to this person. Okay, so we'll go
They're all
Isaac to Morton,
Everyone.
Phil Bravo immediately.
Isaac to Morton.
Then
Phil
say-
Bravo immediately.
So then you are walking next to Hunter because he's on a different channel. He's the C1. So now you go, Hunter. Isaac. So then you say, Hunter, let's fill it immediately.
Phil Bravo immediately.
Okay? And now you are going to communicate to me.
Oh, the old switcher.
Yeah, so then I would say to you.
So you
Oh,
say
wait,
to
I
me.
have radio.
So you say to
Yeah,
me.
I'm saying.
Hunter to Chandler.
Copy?
We need to Phil Bravo immediately.
And then I would go, everyone Phil Bravo immediately! And we'd start. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's how it actually works? Sweet. Any questions on radios?
I like it.
Cool.
good.
Hopefully you guys feel like you know how to use them now, and I would challenge you to actually step into that C2 role and then go up from there. I mean, who knows? In your third year, you could be literally leading the whole CC, and then in conferences, literally leading the conference, filling that. So, pretty cool.
You'll just become Pastor Brian.
You literally ascend.
Alright, Maddie, can we stop that video there?
You just start floating. Turn
Right.
My video.
Bye.
Bye.
What